Meeting to order. It's Thursday, September 4th, 9 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom, 162 West 1st Street, Trinity County Courthouse, Groveton, Texas. And Mike, would you take us?
Absolutely.
Prayer.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we approach your throne this morning, so thankful for the love and mercy and grace imparted to each of us. Today we ask you to be with us as we conduct the affairs of our county. We ask you to give us wisdom and direction in which way in the path that we should take. I ask you to bless our country, our state, and our county. And God, touch us today. And we ask these favors in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Okay, we was this number one, discuss and act on the drought conditions and circumstances. I think she printed them out today, and it's not but two little sections up on your side, I believe, that's even in that anymore. Did you look at it?
No, I didn't.
It was the counties up above you, but it was in there.
Well, I'll tell you, we got a bunch of rain in my precinct. I got, my roads are
I'm
wet.
wet,
My
yeah.
roads are wet right now.
Maintainers bogged down again, so.
Yeah,
I don't think
okay. Well, y'all.
I'll make a motion, we, don't put one on.
Okay.
If that's what needs to happen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number three, discuss and act on implementing a freeze on hiring, promotions, transfers, capital equipment purchases effective September 4th, 2025, as authorized in the Trinity County Handbook Statement, Financial Policy, Section 6, Personnel.
Understanding all these, that we're so far out of budget right now, I'll make the motion to implement the hiring freeze. Motion transferring all of this.
I'll second the motion, but I got some questions. Bonnie, I got the treasurer's office to run me some reports on this overtime, and it's showing that the jail is over $90,543 in salaries. They got 33,000 in part-time to the good, but the actual salaries and personnel is over 90,000. The sheriff's department is $21,053. The district clerk's office is $2,079. That's on part-time. How does it get that way? I mean, I thought that treasurer looks at it and they send it up to you for approval, and you have a safeguard in there to make sure they don't go over or what?
I can't stop the hiring.
You can't stop what?
We never voted for. I cannot control the hiring. That personnel is through, I can do a budget amendment. If there's not enough money in the full-time, we can move it from part-time and vice versa. But I cannot control the hiring. That goes through the treasurer's office.
And I'll speak to this too.
I just indicate, and if there paid on those personal action forms, this will need a budget amendment. In fact, that was one of them on, Jillian had a part-time temporary. We did it on that one. But.
You're talking about overtime now?
I have no control over them officials working their staff. I can't stop that.
The thing is, if they turn in a timesheet and they actually work, and that timesheet comes in, it doesn't matter. We have to pay the employee, period. Now,
Yeah.
the point is, you know, if they're running against their budget, then I think the bigger challenge to this is we're hiring people without the PAF being approved first. And that is against our policy. So I think that's the point, is that no one, like, we just need to actually follow our policy that we have that says you don't just hire someone.
So they should be coming to us with a new hire, correct?
Before
they actually go on
someone
shift.
starts working here and putting time on a timesheet.
They're not to be
it
put
has
in
to
their
be
office.
approved by this court.
Yeah.
That's our policy and has been for a long time.
Right.
But
And every department has done this. Even road and bridge gentlemen, I mean, when
Right.
they have them and they're working, they worked a week maybe or several days before we ever get the notice that they've even been hired, before I ever see it.
I think that's the key. But by law though, if we get a timesheet, we have to pay. So
That's correct.
there's so many AG opinions on that, there's not even a question of that.
Yeah, well, my problem is this comp time. How are we gonna solve the comp time? Do we need to pay it out by the week, by the month, by the quarter? Should never build up like it is. We should have some kind of safety sheet there somewhere. Don't you
Bonnie,
think that?
we used to have, and I think you were here, when, JP Clerk was let work 2 or 3 hours over one year, and we had to pay the insurance for a full year. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
And at that time,
That's also the reason why the treasurer does keep track of those that are working more than their hours for part-time, and will alert the Commissioners Court if that person is, and the official, that that person is getting dangerously close to those hours, so that they become eligible for insurance. Or, and I'll let him address that, but that they do track.
And that's not really what these reports are reflecting. These reports are full-time, right? Which,
all but the district clerks, because hers is part-time.
Well, I believe that, I'm not speaking out of turn, I am out of turn, but I believe hers is from her RPM money.
yeah,
I
so,
think she came and got permission for it, she's paying for that out of another fund.
She did, but it's still showing that right now it's $2,000 over.
right, and I believe that's what Ms. Bonnie was talking to, a minute ago, about doing that budget amendment from R&P. Is that right, Ms. Bonnie?
For that one that was just recently,
Yeah.
hired, that's the only one coming out of the R&P funds. Her other 2 part-time people that is in the general budget are working more than 29.5 hours a week. Are they not?
Well, I think that's been cut back now, but I do know we've had conversations
Okay, because we, yeah,
to say, hey,
exactly, so we
you
have.
know, there's insurance considerations there. But,
I know that it's,
Help.
I know that it's elected officials' place to do this, but it's also the court's place to make sure it don't happen. We need to generate a report to give to this court before the 11th month of the budget, so that we can stay on top of it like we used to do.
Commissioner Smith, do you, does this report that we gave you, which is basically from our general ledger, you're showing each department, and all the budgeted items versus the spend on it. the expenditure. Does that suffice for what you're looking at there, showing you the controlling mechanism compared to their budget, the budget compared to where they're spending? If that's so, we can do this, maybe, is it once a quarter, does that work, or?
That's the way it used to be, yeah.
We can provide that, that's not a problem.
But when they turn their time in, instead of getting comp time, why don't we pay it?
Because if you pay it, you gotta pay time and a half. Comp time is basically a paid vacation.
Well,
It would cost us more money if we.
What now?
If we paid overtime, it would cost us more money versus comp time.
Well,
That's the reason why we have the comp time policy in place.
Well, why couldn't you just turn them loose for a week and then bring them back?
You can.
And then that way you would be either
You
way.
can let them take a vacation for a week, right? Yeah.
well,
Because
the
we
thought
can't-
that-
Or a day or two, or a day or two, or whatever it is.
well, the thought that I see when you have figures that run out of control, like we see in one here, shouldn't the person over the department keep a closer eye of how many people's working? Go, okay, you need to take off. And so, because you've got too much time building up. Wouldn't that be the first step that you want to take at trying to alleviate this? Is let the department heads go keep up with their time and go, hey, you're working too much time, we need to let you off here for a week.
And I do think that's why in our policy, we actually state, and to Ms. Bonnie's point, I feel like every department has had some issues with this in my short tenure here, and that is, we've hired people before getting approval from the court.
Yeah.
Well, that needs to stop.
I think that
Immediately.
that's actually against our policy.
Sure it is.
So, I think that needs to be clearly directed today.
So Bonnie and Ord, do y'all think that the judge needs to send a letter to every elected official with a copy of this handbook deal and notify them that we don't want anybody hired unless they went through court? Is that the proper way to do it?
I think that would probably be a good thing to remind everyone, and show them clearly that it's not us making this up. This has been in our policy. We just haven't been following it. And we need to make sure we get back to following
And
it.
also,
Especially in light of current budget constraints.
What I was saying about the overtime,
be very strict.
yeah, what I was saying about the overtime and stuff, if we had a disaster and stuff, I wouldn't, and none of these people up here would be even worried about that part of it. They'd be trying to help. But when you're running along in a regular budget and you got these issues, it needs to be addressed,
Right.
that part of it.
So I had one question, Warren, so
Yes.
and Bonnie, if we're doing it so y'all are saying the wrong way. So let's just say, the PAF's personal action forms come in front of us, and you have found that there's not enough money in there to cover this new person, but they're already hired. So the wrong way.
Yeah.
What happens, what's the next step? I mean, if somebody's hired,
Commissioners Court goes, this is denied. You would deny that right there. We'd have to pay them for the period of time they worked, but you could direct that official, we did not approve it, it's not in the budget, there's not enough money to hire that person, you need to let them go.
so that's why the
We
policy
did
put,
it 1 year.
the policy was put in place because of
Remember,
that.
district clerks, yeah. District clerk's office 1 year, we had some that went over, we didn't have a position any longer, they were asked to go ahead and leave. The court said they have to leave.
Again, we're not trying to tell each department who they can and can't hire, but we do have the budget control, right? That is what and by we, I mean you guys, the court. And so that's where I think doing it the right way makes a lot of sense, which is, hey, before you hire someone, you have to bring that before court and get approval. And part of that process is where
Ms. Bonnie's office and my office go through, looks at that budget and says, to Bonnie's point, she's writing on those BAS, hey, there's not a budget here for that line item or whatever. And so if there is a budget, okay, whatever, you guys can let that go. But if there isn't a budget, that's where you say, there's not a budget for this. We can't allow that hiring to happen. You're not getting in the place of managing someone's office, but what you are doing is controlling the budget. And that is perfectly legal and perfectly okay for the court to do.
Or am I understanding it right? So you can't tell an elected official what to do with their office once you give them a budget. But if you have this comp time and you have quarterly reports and you pay that comp time out in a quarterly manner, that would reflect on the budget. So if you have a $40,000 budget for an employee and everything's rocking along normal and there's 20 grand of comp or $5,000 of comp time, that would go against that individual position's budget to where they would run out. Is that how you would keep it in check?
Yes.
Yeah, instead of building up,
Just pay it out, kind of take your medicine early, but then that budget would reflect accurately what it is instead of kind of finding this loophole to outrun the budget, and saving it up. I think you'd have to
it
pay
looks
it
like
out.
you're in budget, but you're really not.
So you'd have to kind of proactively, as a court, stay on top of the comp time, pay it out, and then it would accurately reflect the budget, and that position could potentially run out before the year's time.
But if you really just work the time where you didn't have that,
You can manage it.
you can manage it, and you still be in the budget.
That's what I'm talking about.
Monitored in City Hall.
If you pay it out though, it's time and a half, right?
Right.
Even if you let it build up for a year, it's still time and a half, right?
Yeah, is it anything in there if you got 12 months and at the end of 12 months, I know where I used to work, all my stuff went away. I couldn't carry it over.
It builds up, but it does cap. So once that cap is reached, then there is no more comp time accrual taking place.
But if you've got a full staff, that's what the judges said a while ago, I think, is if we'd have had a disaster or something, there'd be no questions asked. But we hadn't had no disaster. And we've got a department that's $90,000 over in one and 21,000. That's $111,000 with a full staff. I don't understand that. We're not managing it. We're not catching it.
To your point, Commissioner Smith, I do think maybe we reiterate to every elected official in their office that you must get approval before hiring someone. That you can't have someone start working without getting approval from the court first. I think that is perfectly okay. That is what our policy says. Obviously, there are at times extenuating circumstances for emergency situations. However, the Attorney General's opinion, I think, kind of defines what is that emergency situation. And it basically, in one Attorney General's opinion that I was reading earlier, talks about an emergency amendment to a budget. And basically, this was from September 20th of 2022, and it was basically to Trinity County. And there was the Attorney General was responding to a request there. And basically they're saying, hey, a grave public necessity to meet an unusual and unforeseen condition that could not have been included in the original budget through the use of reasonably diligent thought and attention. So that's kind of the test for that. Not just, oh, we had a staffing shortage or something like that, but basically there was a true emergency that took place that was unforeseen. And so that's basically, of course, I'm not giving a legal opinion because I'm not an attorney. I'm not capable of doing that. I'm just reading my interpretation of what this letter from the Attorney General, Ken Baxter's office said. So anyway, I feel like just enforcing our actual policy that we already have would go a long way to...
This is a great time of the year to, I guess, revive it you know, since we are about to start a new budget,
Right.
need to send out notice, since we weren't really sticking to it like we were, but I think that would be sufficient. Send out notice to the department
And
head.
then if we can get some reports, so we'll know.
Yeah,
You know,
and we
that-
could
that-
definitely provide this once a quarter. I don't think that would be any issue at all, for the court, for us in my office to provide the court. We could do that. I'm sorry, we didn't realize, that was something we needed to be doing, so, we will make that start happening for sure. Also, you know, obviously all this comes up in light of the real budget constraints that we're having right now. And so obviously that's why this is being scrutinized a little heavier. Just because we're not flush with millions of cash, you know, for extra spending. And so I think, you know, that's where all this is coming from. And obviously we have the policy already in place. My personal opinion is we have a policy for a reason. We need to actually follow that policy.
We have no choice but to follow the policy.
Especially in light of the budget constraints, we really need to be looking at that.
Well, we were so short this year. And, all of us up here, and all of y'all, really, we've asked everybody to tighten their belt and try to come together and see if we can't work out. And we've cut things and done things and tried to do it, and then you have somebody leave and you owe $12,000 for them. Well, that wasn't in the budget. That takes off the bottom line. That comes off right there.
What's the safeguard? So
And that's,
if it's
Yes, ma'am.
elected officials,
I was gonna say that's where we run into a problem is, and that's gonna be up to that official and the court saying, okay, you're over budget with that person leaving, you cannot hire a replacement. So that's, you can't hire a replacement till the next budget year.
Everybody has to stay in budget, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I have to stay in a budget at home, my business, and here at the county. I stay within the budget, and I expect everybody else to stay within the budget.
And if you want to move money from one line item to the other, all of us can do that. But if anything goes to personnel, that requires the court to decide whether or not they can use something else in their line item to go toward additional payroll costs. That is something we just don't do without your approval.
So
and
there's-
we've done that with the court approval.
There's nothing in our handbook that if a department gets over in time like our sheriff's department is now. If they walked out right now, it's $148,000 that we'd have to pay out. There's nothing in our handbook that says you can only carry over X amount of hours or you have to go home.
So there are limits. Like I said, there's a cap on what they can accrue. But we do not have a policy that says, you know, at a certain amount of time, then you're required to start taking that. And I don't know that we can actually have that in place. That gets into managing their office.
That's the department, that's right, that's the official.
I'm pretty sure we can't actually put something like that.
What if we, like this right here, there's a lot of line items that are not over, and there's a lot of money left to be spent.
Right.
What if they go way over on one, we make a budget amendment to take some from another line item? That way the elected official would be more likely to stay on top of things to keep from having to spend money they need on other items.
And again, I think that's the point, is the elected official has to bring that before the court to say, hey, I'm proposing that we take an amendment. And I'm not trying to speak for you, Ms. Bonnie, but I believe this is what we were discussing earlier, which was, hey, I'm proposing to the court, I'm way under on this line item. Let me use some of that money to help fund the operations here, just so that we can stay within budget. And that's where we would do the budget amendment. and the court would approve that, and then we could continue on.
Right.
Now, if there-
Because we're looking at the department budget, as a department budget, are they, I mean, we send these reports, monthly reports to the officials all the time from my office. They know, or should know, where they are in their budget on a weekly or monthly basis. It's really, it's out there, it's available. So if they go, wait, I'm not using my fuel, doesn't look like I'm gonna use that much more, but I need it up here for this is what we do budget amendments for, exactly, thank you, Lauren.
My suggestion is that we do not change our policy on comp time accrual. That would wind up costing our budget way more than what it does currently. There's
What
a
Bonnie
reason why-
said was probably the move, right? If they leave, then that's it for that position, right? If there's no
So-
more money in the budget for that
There's no more.
position, it's been burned up.
So, what are you saying, the one that just left, that we paid out 12,000, we wouldn't replace that position, or what?
Not for that budget year.
Is there money in the budget?
Well, yeah,
for
but
that
they
position?
able to, less than 30 days left.
No, but is there money, is there money in the line item for that position left after the $12,000 was paid?
It is in that budget right now.
Just make a budget amendment for that line item. We need to,
Now, I don't believe the court should just start making budget amendments. I think that should be the elected official that comes to the court to say, here's my proposed budget amendment. And otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to hire anybody else unless we.
Oh, I agree with that fully.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think there ought to be a report to us, like you say you're gonna do, so that we know. We don't get within 25 days of the new budget starting and find out all of this.
we need to make it a policy to where we can do that.
But we can't do it, the elected official has to, but
Yes.
you're going to look at your budget to see how we can offset this kind of money. And this elected official's, his responsibility to stay within his budget. You have to operate in a budget. Like he said, I do one at home, I operate within a budget.
And by the way, there is no exception for any department, by the way. Period, by law. Every department has to stay within budget. There is no exception. The one potential exception being an absolute emergency that was completely unforeseen. That could potentially change some things. Anything outside of that, again, I'm not giving legal advice, because I can't do that, but anything outside of that, I feel falls outside of any elected official's ability to do that. So we already have the policy in place. I think that is the recommendation, and we do need to send notice, as Colton mentioned, which was make sure everyone understands this. We got to start following our policy. When we're running this tight, we can't, every little thing is counting, and so we really need to be as tight as we can, in that process.
Agreed.
I wish that
We
all the,
had a motion and a second, but we kinda got off.
I wish the,
On the hiring freeze.
all the budgets were just like my budget at the Road and Bridge and just like the rest of these guys' budget. If my rock line item goes to zero, I can't buy no more rock. And that's the way I believe it's supposed to be, and I believe that's the way it's being, but there's still overages. Once you're over in a line item, there's either a budget amendment or you can't do it no more. And that's the way I run mine over there, but we work different. We don't work out of the general fund. All we get is what's allotted to us, and if we run out of money, we can't buy no more rock, or we can't buy anything. Can't do anything else. So I believe that the policies are in place, just like you said, Warren,
Yeah,
What's this
for a reason.
and no budget amendments happen after the fact in some cases because you think money from another fund, or, you know, your savings or whatever, we have to do a budget amendment to move that money up and then change that line item. So it may, you go, I'm gonna use that money, you go, fine, that's fine, and you go ahead and spend it, and then, but we know it's coming from a source that we amend your budget with. The general budget, I mean, that's all they have. There is no more, there is no savings accounts, there's nothing that they can, I mean, what they have is what they can get.
Yeah, so again, to Bonnie's point, two different considerations. One is the actual cash we have that we can spend or not. And two is the budget. Each official has their own budget, right? That does not mean how much cash we have. Those are two very different considerations. I think we're okay to pay all our bills right now. The point is we're having some constraints on our budget, and that's where we really need to be very cognizant of that. And to the point, when it comes to personnel side of budget amendments, I do think there's extra consideration there, that you can't just amend those personnel things unless it is a true emergency. So we can move other items between lines, but moving it for personnel is not the same consideration.
What you just gave me, I mean, it says that the Commissioners Court will be the one to determine if there's an instance in fact to justify that, right?
That's just one AG opinion that I agree with.
But nevertheless, it would be these guys that make the decision whether or not, you know, if they wanted to. This is asking, can they raise?
Right.
And that's what I'm telling them, if they come and, that's what I tell the official, if that's what you need, you're gonna have to go to court. I can't go to court for you.
Right.
You need to explain to the court what your need, why is it necessary, why is it an emergency, what is the reason behind the overtime. That's the official needs to address the court for that. Yeah.
So I think, again, the answer is, let's just follow our policy. That might go a long way in fixing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and then if you can get those reports and let us have them every so often, because we could look and see, and maybe we could just have a talk with the elected official about having that. It wouldn't be anything wrong.
Right. Instead of having to do that publicly in a court, we could be having that conversation, you know, potentially with them saying, hey, let's just get that tightened up or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Without having to necessarily call it out, but if it comes down to it, then obviously that would need to run through court.
Okay, so.
I still have my motion on the
Yeah.
floor too.
What I would add, what I'd like to see added to that email is, and Bonnie kind of touched on that with the email, that for these next 25 days, we don't need to be doing no unwanted spending. And I believe if every elected official hears that, I mean, I know we can't control it if it's in their budget, but if they know how tight we are with this budget, maybe they will wait till after the first of the month and when the new budget starts to try and buy these extra things that they probably may or may not need, but it's not a necessity for the next 25 days until.
Can I suggest maybe until November when we
I can
actually
say
get
when more
cash
money
flow?
starts coming in.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah.
It would be awesome if they could wait toward at the end of the year when revenue starts coming back in.
There's not an end date on Commissioners Court on the action item, right? So it would kind of be, in my mind, more like a burn ban. You know, y'all would have to choose the time to lift it. As
We put it back on the agenda and say now.
Yeah, to lift the
Yeah.
hiring freeze. It's probably the safest bet, you know, when you're ready to do it. I don't know if the order, Lisa, does the order have a termination date? Okay. So as of right now, someone would have to put it back on the court to lift it up.
There's no way to put something in the handbook, or is there something in there about all this overtime or comp time that like if you work it, you gotta take it off, or if you at some point we're not gonna go anymore, because I mean some of these are pretty high. There's nothing we can put in place that says, hey, I mean the way I do it in my department, I don't know about anybody else, but when my guys go out at night to take a tree out, the tree fell, or they got to take it out of the road, they either come back late the next morning or take the next day off early, you know. And so I have zero comp time in mine, and I wish one of the sheriff's office was here, because when I was there with them before, that's how they did it. And I don't know what's going on with their department or whatever, and that's their business, but, I think,
we do have like the cap that can accrue on that. That is in our policy right now. That was voted on many years ago.
How much is the cap though?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
You know, you can go broke over the cap.
Yeah. No,
Well, we're
absolutely.
broke now if you wanna look at it.
Could you adjust the cap?
that's
I
the
don't-
question. If there's a
I don't
cap
know,
or,
because there is a special rule that we adopted specific to, basically, the sheriff's department, right? And so we'd have to look into that a little more to see if there's, you know, a way, but I don't know that we would be able to make them, take that differently, as long as we've elected to do that. And I do believe our election currently is the right call, because if we go the other way with it, it will cost us way more in expenses every year. So, that's why most counties go with what we have in place
The
currently.
comp time over the overtime. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that allowed comp time, yeah. So-
But all elected officials here, if they see it's done and it's costing the taxpayers money, should be willing to look at that and then let them people off and stuff.
Well, sure, I mean.
Especially if you've got a full staff.
And amend the budget, to stay within their budget.
Yeah.
You know, you got a full staff, there's no reason for this. If you got a full staff, now if we was 5 short or something, you could see it, but what I understand, we got a full staff. And we still 90,000 in jail and 21,000 in sheriff. And I'm not trying to run the department, but I am managing this money, the people's money. That's my job, and that's the reason I'm gonna bring it up.
so you think it would, after all this comes to light, it would fix itself? Because what I'm understanding, what Colton brought up earlier, is if somebody has $100,000 in their full-time budget, and there's $20,000 that's owed to somebody for overtime, then that comes out of that $100,000. So potentially, if they try to hire somebody else,
Yeah.
when they leave, potentially they're not gonna have enough to go through their budget. So it should fix itself.
Is that right, Bonnie? And the Commissioners Court, with the new policy in place, would be able to say yay or nay if there's money left in that budget?
Well, once you set the budget, that's the budget.
The question I got, Bonnie, is, the question I got is,
The amount.
let's say there's $100,000 in my budget for full-time, and one of my guys has got $10,000 in overtime or comp time, and they leave, and we gotta cut them a $10,000 check. That $10,000 comes off of my $100,000 line item, correct? So potentially,
So it comes off your department budget, yes, because it's gonna show up in that report, and that shows, that's why you see that overage.
so sooner or later, towards the end of my budget, I'm gonna have $10,000 short on my full-time, and I won't be able to hire somebody, or won't be able to pay them.
That's why you look at your total budget and go, do I have anything that I'm not going to be using, or I still have something left over that would cover not only that $10,000 payout, but can I hire someone and still not go over my department budget for the end of the year? If you can't, you might have to hire them for a temporary time, or don't hire anyone back at all. That's what you have to, go, I'm spending everything I've got. I don't have enough available in the budget that you've given me. So that's when they can come back to the court and say, I don't have enough, but I need someone to replace this person. Can you use reserve? You can tell them you can take reserve funds and then restrict the budget.
But it's up to y'all. It's up to the Commissioners Court approval for an amendment, right?
That's up to the Commissioners Court, yes.
Judge, you got a motion and a second, but I say if you send that email out and put all that information in there, and hopefully elected officials will look at it and say, you know, hey, we need to cut out spending for the next month and a half or 2 months until we get some revenue coming in for the county. I think quite a bit of them will acknowledge that and take our recommendations. So that's all I gotta say about it.
Need a motion?
I have a motion.
Can I address, because I was over there watching them, but take care of other stuff, but because you mentioned about how you were handling your staff, if somebody came in on a tree the night before, the next day. You and I talked about it, that all of my dispatchers are jailers, but not all of my jailers are dispatchers. And a lot of our accrued time, those that are comped out or maxed out, are typically our dispatchers tend to carry heavy. If they go over, because of the number of employees, the number of dispatchers, if one goes over and I let her off for a week or 2 weeks to try to burn time down, we don't have the surplus in dispatchers to have someone come and cover that spot. So the next dispatcher who fills that void while she's gone for 2 or 3 weeks is now accumulating the same overage for that 2 or 3 week period, because now she's working her regular shift plus the shifts of others. So we get caught in a vicious cycle, mostly on the dispatch side of things, of if one leaves, somebody has to backfill that spot. That console is only managed by specific people. So the deputies, the jailers, all those people, we do flex that does come out. We do try to mitigate that or let them off for, like Glenn Reitmeyer has a lot of time, he's been here forever, but every November he takes off the entire month. So we can manage that time. I cannot manage the dispatcher's time. That's one that there has to be a specific person at that console that's trained that can have that. Otherwise, I have no way to mitigate that. So if, again, one of them leaves or takes a vacation, whatever the case is, there's only a specific group of people that I can backfill that spot with. So that's why if you look at our time, most of our balances, our crew time, is in that dispatcher realm. And so we try to bring in or keep like some part-times or temp workers on to kind of backfill certain spots. So we're only paying out regular time instead of time and a half. But that's one thing that we cannot, without adding to that staff number, we cannot, that number is going to, it's stuck in a cycle. It was there when I got there, it was there when you were there, you don't pay it down. However, as you're rotating through these budget years, that hour's not gonna go. And every night shift dispatchers, I don't have the ability for them to take a 30-minute or an hour lunch to leave that console. They're accruing 84 hours every day, period. I have no way to stop that. So, I mean, I promise you, I'm doing my best to manage that. That position, I cannot do. There's nothing I can do to stop that.
But Deputy Carroll,
Chief Deputy Carroll, Commissioner. Yes, sir.
Sir?
Chief Deputy Carroll.
Oh, Chief
Yes, sir.
Deputy Carroll, excuse me. I'm sorry, let me get the right.
Hey, it's all good, sir.
So you don't have to call me Reverend, you can call me Mike, it'll be fine.
Commissioner Love.
All right. Just saying that, we haven't moved line items around in the budget to make sure you stay within the budget. Mm-hmm. We understand your dilemma, and surely with the dispatcher, somebody has to be at that console. We totally understand. But looking at budgets where there's overages maybe of 50-something, then that's when the department head needs to come and we'll move line items around to offset what we're trying to do. But we're so far out of budget that we're having to limit. That's our discussion.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm tracking all that y'all are doing, and I think that makes sense to adjust up to, I mean, you have overages and some that you have not even nearly touching the budget amount there. So I think ultimately with Bonnie and Warren doing our balance, I think that's 100%. I was just coming to address, because Commissioner Park asked that, he said, I wish there was somebody from the Sheriff's Office here. So I came over here to address that we are trying to manage that accrual balance. We almost monthly, at least when we have our staff meetings, requested information from Rebecca to try to see where my overages are, who's approaching it, and if I have the ability to cut that down some. And like I said, we're managing it the best we can, but there's four spots, 5 spots on there that are not going to, I cannot manage it. There's no way for me to physically do it without shutting that console down for a week.
Okay. I mean, and that's what we're talking about, getting those quarterly reports. But
yeah, we get them. We get them on a regular basis.
But we appreciate you coming over
Yes,
and sitting with us and talking with us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Chief Deputy Carey.
Commissioner Watley.
All right.
So if you have 4 full-time dispatchers, Or how many does it take to run that thing 24/7?
sir.
Full-time?
Dispatcher.
4 dispatchers. That's each one working 6 A to 6 P, 7 days a week,
So,
or 6 P to 6 A.
How many do you have?
There's 4 full-time dispatchers and a dispatch jailer that's a supervisor that oversees the dispatch console, attack administration stuff, that specific deal, but she's dual purpose as a jailer and a dispatcher. The issue that I was telling Commissioner Park is all of the dispatchers are jailers, but not all of the jailers are dispatchers. So mental ability to multitask in stressful, high-stress emergency situations. And one, not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to answer a 911 call because somebody's supposed to take a last breath. I think it's a special breed of people that do that, and asking or forcing someone to do that role without the willingness to do it is a sacrifice and compromise of them and safety of the community. I don't have a dollar amount aside from what it would take to go through the TLET's full access class to be able to do it. I don't know what course costs right now.
What is that you said supervisor, what's that TAC deal you're talking about? TAC something or
So
something?
the agency terminal has to have someone that oversees that, maintains the compliance, does our CGIS audit, does our TAC audit, that maintains everything that is related to DPS. It has nothing to do with any budget line items. I think we addressed it before. When Bonnie had initially pulled it out as a dispatch supervisor, all it is another dispatch position who is tasked with overseeing the dispatch functions, and there's no adjustments to our budget from the county side of things. The only thing that happens is there's a stipend increase on the Senate Bill 22 money. So for the intents and purposes of the county, it is just another dispatch jailer position.
So that's, essentially you got 5 full-time.
Correct.
4 solely dispatchers.
For the council, correct.
But the dispatch supervisor was just created there, is that right?
That would have been the middle of last budget year. And all it was, again, is it was a dispatch jailer position that was already slotted that we filled with a dispatcher also certified as a jailer and gave her the additional responsibilities. And in the, I guess, grants to do the additional responsibilities, we allocated more SB 22 money to her.
But she don't pull a shift. She pulls a shift with another jailer or with another dispatcher.
She's pulling her own individual shifts as well. So like we just lost a dispatcher. Yesterday was her effective last day. She now fills in that role, and she's now working one of the 6A to 6B or 6B to 6A shift, solely doing just that.
All that and about $2.10, you can get a cup of coffee at Connie's. You ready to vote?
Yeah. I didn't know if y'all was through yet.
Yeah.
There's already a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 4, discuss FY 2026 budget development. You want to explain that, Ms. Bonnie?
The cover sheet I gave you shows what changes were made from your last meeting. Then yesterday, found out, there was a change in state, payment to the county attorney, so I had to revise the payroll taxes that the county pays, on the state supplement. So I've made a few changes, but the money that we had left over when we first looked at this was rolled up into the contingency line item. So you have a little bit to work with, but not a lot. I'm going through right now and entering all this information into our financial budget system, just to make sure there's no calculation errors. I did find one last night, so I need to take a little bit more from that contingency. So I'm going to tell you, you really only have, I've got $100,000 in contingency. You've got about $120,000 of revenue that has not been allocated anywhere. So I put it into the contingency. I'm leaving it there. So the court decides what you want to do with this current budget. You want to make changes, keep it as it is. If you start adding to, we're going to have to draw down from that contingency line item and see what you're left with. But I wouldn't pull a lot from that, because that contingency is exactly that. It's for emergency. Something unforeseen, as we talked about. Something we did not plan for in the budget that could be happening in this next budget year.
So that's the 231?
And we're gonna have to pull money from reserve.
That's the 231? That's what the total is gonna be in contingency, is at 231,000?
Yeah, and it's gonna be less than that. It'll be about 222,000. With the correction I found last time. So it's at 122, be $222,330 to work with. But I would still leave 100,000 of that in reserve. I'd leave it there.
What's this?
So if you want to go back to the list I gave before on the request the other departments have asked for and how much is needed for that request, that would be where if you're going to make those changes or any of those changes now, now's the time to decide, or you decide with all of the situation we have going on with our financial cash flow, you wait until after your budget is passed. It's just my opinion. And see where we are in cash flow, and then come back and amend the budget if you need to add any of these other part-time positions or some of these other requests that are on that page.
Hey, Bonnie,
This is up to you.
Bonnie, if you might have said it a while ago, when you said you found a correction yesterday evening or yesterday, that was $10,000 or so, $9,000, I guess. What correction was that?
You got about $4,000 correction on the payroll to the county attorney. The county has to pay his payroll taxes and retirement on the state supplement. So I had in there, based on his original salary, there was $10,400 and something dollars. Now it's $14,000.
Gotcha.
That's needed. So I made that correction, put that out of reserve. It's $3,982 more. His payroll tax went from $10,829 to $14,811. I found another $5,000 error last night. So that's the reason why I said you really only have $122,000 to work with if you don't touch the $100,000 additional reserve.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Are there any reductions? If there's any reductions that you need to make in the budget, then that number that you don't use, we can roll it back up into contingency. And then you can relook at whether you can disperse any of that to other positions or other departments.
I don't know.
What page is it?
Page 9.
Again, line items can be adjusted.
Ask
If
her
one
about it right
department has a line item, that amount we put in could be reduced and moved to payroll or some other line item within whatever that we already have. You could do that.
Did they do all the JPs in them?
Yes. Bonnie, on this new budget I'm looking at, I'm a little bit confused on the JPs. It's showing the JP position and got that salary down there. Then it's JP clerk, part-time is 23,000. And then there's a full-time, 49,000. What is that?
What page is that on?
Page 6, 9?
That's the total. Well, the full-time is the full-time, what you're saying on the line item. The top part is the number of positions that department has. That's the JP and the clerk.
Oh,
And
okay.
if you go down to the budget, the full-time, he makes 50,000, and the part-time will be the 23,805, 81. That's what that 1.5% increase.
Okay, I understand now.
So there's only, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
But you're showing their salary.
Yeah, I thought Richard Steptoe had done got carried you out for dinner or something, slipped it in there.
They've all got part-time left in there.
You know, he used to be a police. Yeah, you get the time right.
What's the bottom line in this one?
I don't know what y'all are thinking, but I don't think we need to, we got 122 over. I don't think we need to go to adding.
I don't think we need to do nothing.
This is the tightest we've been since I've been on here, I believe, so.
Oh, yeah. Where's the bottom line at? See it.
Full-time line item in my budget, like for the county, but I never use it because they got some big $22 million in 3,000 version.
Don't see it in
General fund at the beginning of the year, they're going
Bonnie, the total budget where we sit right now, we have 1 month left. What, do you know a percentage where we're sitting?
That's at 122,000.
So that's,
Before this last month?
no.
Okay, repeat that.
Okay, so what I'm getting, the 122 is what we're gonna have extra.
That's on the next.
That's
budget.
extra. What I'm saying is, how much have we spent on this budget? What percentage are we at right now with 1 month to go? Is what I'm saying. Is it 90%, or 95%, or how much of the?
Our current budget?
Yes.
Current budget?
Because potentially, if we stay under budget, then we're gonna have a little overage there as well that'll add to that 122, correct?
You're asking if there's anything that'll be left over from this current budget
Yes.
that will carry over into the next budget?
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
I estimated, which is in this current budget, at $250,000 thousand, that's high.
So the 250,000 is,
A carryover.
the 250,000 is all,
It's already been dispersed.
it's already in the next budget, built into this budget we're gonna approve? And we're only 122 to the good?
Yes.
Seem tighter than you thought.
I was thinking, if everybody stays under budget a little bit,
If we have nothing left over, you'd have to pull 250 out of that new budget. We normally will have about 250,000 that will roll over. Right now, that's why it's so tight right now, that's why we're pleading this small spending, because if we spend down our current budget, there will not be 250,000 to roll over into the new budget to work from.
So next year, you really gonna be in trouble.
I think,
And that's why those cuts.
I think next year we're going to have to trim it in every department. We're going to do something like this year, I took a $22,000 hit.
Next year.
No, I mean, before we go into our next, no, we need to,
If you're gonna cut the new budget, you gotta cut it down.
no, I'm talking about cut 2027 budget. When we go into that budget, we're really gonna have to go through each one of these departments, because it's gonna be even tighter next year.
You better look at it this year.
Even tighter
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot tighter.
this year.
I have a part-time position in my budget, it's like $15,000, but since the Senate Bill 22 money and the pretrial diversion fund, that hasn't been spent at all.
Road and Bridge took a big hit this year. My portion of that forestry money was around $22,000 if I did the calculation right. So I don't know if we need, which we're running tight on this budget, timing wise, I don't know if we need to, because it's gonna be even tighter going into 27. I don't know if we need to dissect it even further and start trimming some stuff off. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the increase is 2.09% on page 23 from last year's actual budget to what we're proposing this year. So you're looking at going from 89.91, $8,991,222 to $9,177,790. It's a 2.0% increase, and that's due to insurance and the 1.5%. That's when that comes in. Bonnie, if there's anything left in anybody's budgets, every department, we're gonna have to take roll of all that over to help us.
It's not real money.
That's right.
I understand it's not real money, but
It's in the bank.
I understand, but well, we can make
Yeah.
actual cuts, like we've already made so many cuts now. I know it's not actual money, it's a budget, but, and hoping that we get money to cover the budgets, I understand, but.
Everybody that's under right now, we can cut them 10% across the board and get another. It's just a guide to go by. It's really not.
Yeah.
That's
Not
not
money.
an insurance deal. It's
Like
like
not
every
money.
department like that.
Yeah, well, I think you need to think about that, Commissioner Ross, on anyone that's under budget, doesn't mean they might not need the budget. Maybe they're actually doing what was requested.
It's only.
Others just belongs money.
That's true.
Well, I mean,
Everybody's got
10%,
huh?
10% across the board.
Sir,
Everybody cut 10% across the board
got 10%?
out of everybody's budget.
I was thinking that if we're gonna trim some, I took about 5% cut, and I did do some numbers, I don't have them with me, but across the board, a 5% cut, and it would help out. I think it was $350,000 extra, I think is what it was.
Bonnie, I'm looking under, maintenance tech, and where it says, unemployment insurance, it's showing 200%. Explain that to me.
Well, unemployment, insurance, it depends on what the preference of officers choose as to, how much that department and those individuals are, insured by for unemployment. So well, everybody has that in their budget now, and, as well as workers' comp. And each department, if they're administrative, the cost is less, or you can check, let me know. If your road and bridge guys have a higher workers' comp, and probably because of the salaries, it's based on salaries, but also the risk factor of that position. Higher risk, the more the insurance. So you're looking at maintenance. What page is that on?
15.
That's because of actual. See, we've only budgeted last year $171.
Yes.
What's already been charged to that account as of August 31st was $514. So I budgeted $515. That's the
Okay.
reason for the 200% increase. Yeah.
Okay, I just seen that.
More realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we budgeted last year were unknown. We had not done this before. But then when the actual started hitting, we need to account for that. Something people need to look at their educational and line items. That's another area some may be going over. I know the cost has gone up. Something that each department needs to consider whether or not they're where we should be, because I've got some that are over budgeted in education.
Bonnie, I have some notes from this. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry. Was you saying something? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm listening.
I got some notes from the last couple budget workshops. Said insurance went up $67,500 increase, and I have a question mark next to the 1.5% increase, the merit raises or the raises, how we did it, the salary survey raises 1.5%. Do we have a total?
Yeah, that's the pay scale. That's the pay scale the board has in effect, and then all employees after a year of service, after the next year, they get a step increase.
Yeah, I know. I know that, but I'm talking about a total. Do we, for this fiscal year that we're about to pass, this budget, how much was the total of just that 1.5%?
Well, that's 1.5%. I mean, the total was probably, let's look at it apart. I mean, with payroll costs going up, and that makes 2%.
I didn't know if you had that number.
Your payroll taxes go up, your retirements go up.
No. I didn't know if you had that number just offhand of how much it impacted the new budget that we're going to pass.
I don't have the total. It doesn't make a big amount. It's because we're not giving the officials an increase, we're just doing the employees, so it's not that large of an increase, the 1.5%. Retirement rate went down a little bit, even though people's salaries go up, so you'll see a reduction, maybe of a couple of them, a small percentage on retirement. Payroll taxes go up. So if you look at each one, they should go up 1.5%. Even payroll taxes.
I don't fool with them.
Retirement though went down. So that's why I'm saying you're really looking at over 1.5% of your budget. and we've only gone up 2.9% overall. So the salary increases and payroll increases 1% of that. And 2.9% is not a big increase from last year.
So that unemployment insurance that we were talking about a while ago, that hadn't been in the budget before, or it was in the budget somewhere else, not in each department?
That's correct.
Okay, you broke it down and put it in each department.
By law, by county law, and by law, we had to break out workers' comp, unemployment, insurance, and health insurance. So that's why we broke it out by department based on the number of full-time positions that department has in their budget.
Okay.
That you choose to have.
I'm just, it
So
was
if
different.
it changes, I reduce that.
It was different, so I wanted to understand it.
Yeah, so that way you see what that department's cost in insurance
Sure,
and payroll taxes, retirement, you see all of it.
I think that's good.
We can take it on just like it is right now. Next year, we might look about taking a tax increase if the counties come down.
Okay.
But whatever y'all like to do.
We trimmed down quite a bit. I was looking at mine this week. Less than it was last year. So it's Tommy's, so it's Stevens.
I took a big hit.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize how expensive.
I'm thinking, well, I did the calculation, about right at 5% is what we did. Just off of losing that forestry money.
Of course, money that only affected road and bridge, right?
Yes.
That was not included in anyone else.
It wasn't included, nobody but Road and Bridge. See, we split it with the schools district. And we got around 150, I believe. And so we only get about 75. And my percentage of that was about 91,000, 22,000.
Well, y'all got more than 300 and y'all's piece is 150. Y'all split that.
I think it was 150, 160 total, right?
Y'all's portion, the other half went to the school. So it was 300.
Yeah, so we took a bigger hit than that.
So we took a bigger hit than what I was thinking.
Yes, we did.
Road and bridge.
Mine was 15,000.
No other department ever benefited from that.
28%. 28% of 150. 30 something, 40.
That 42. Stop my head. My calculator's running a little slow. How much is it? Oh, isn't that amazing?
What was that?
It's a brainiac.
What was it?
Ask me a
We're talking about the
percentage
hit,
and I told you.
we're talking about the hit that
We
we
talk.
got on
You
the
see that,
force.
Shasta?
We took about
On the math
$4,000
page.
hit.
Sure,
Numbers is my thing.
but we have to suck it up.
When I work in don't ask me my name.
We got cut from 300 down to 7,000. We got to split that with the school, so we're $3,500.
That's it, exactly right.
And then that's gotta be divided.
Yeah, 3,500 got to be.
So I got $350 this year is what I got.
Take that to,
You can have it, Richard. I'll
take
give
that
it
to
you.
Burger King and get you a burger.
Yeah.
So you think we can live with this again?
24.
I think so. Don't y'all think we can live with this, watch ourselves real close and live with it? 2024.
Yeah, 309.
Miss Bonnie, how do you feel about this this budget? Is that, we cut about everything we can cut? Do you think we can, if we watch our P's and Q's and don't buy any paper clips, we can make it?
Yeah, we can make it, but everybody needs to be really, and we can believe that from the purchasing side, the best we can is, you know, don't order things you don't need to function during, you know, the workday. I mean, we've just gotten to a habit, unfortunately, of like, oh, I need a bunch of pens, I need more paper we've got to have because we got done. But we may have to go back to this. When I first started, we reuse our paper up here. I mean, once we use it, we turn it over and use the other side to try to save in cost. Just because it's in your budget doesn't mean, if everybody will just remember that, doesn't mean there's money in the bank to cover it like that. So come October 1st, people have the same tendency like they do the end of September, hurry up and spend it or I'll lose it. They're looking at the budget number, not the actual money. If you don't
It's not
spend
money,
it,
right.
that's a good thing, we'll have money left over. If they can get away from that mentality of, I've got to spend it now. I've already said that to a couple of departments on some stuff they wanted, because it's a want, not a need.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, sir.
Is the bond
We can keep doing
taken out of this
that.
budget, or it's gonna be taken out of the other one
You
on the
leave
election?
it like it is,
Since
we'll be
we've done it
fine, and you've got some cushion in case something else comes up, or if something changes in a department, then you can make a decision and go, can we use that money to now do that? You could ask whole departments to make a cut, 5%. That's gonna make it even tighter.
Okay.
Or you leave it as it is.
Well, if we go into knowing for fiscal year 2027, that's what we're gonna ask them to do, then they can adjust to that through this next fiscal year and know that, hey, and here comes July, August, when we start really getting into budget workshops, they're gonna be asked to cut 5% out of their budget. Or have whatever, whatever that number is, because from the looks of it, it's gonna be tighter in 27 than it is now. So we're gonna have to do something.
True.
A question
They need to
asked
do
too,
it hard,
Bonnie, is the cost of our election, for our bond election, is it out of this year's budget or next year?
Next year.
Next year's, that's what I thought.
You already got it in there.
What is it? What was that question?
The bond election.
You're not talking about 25, 26, you're talking about 26, 27, right?
Next year's budget, or this coming budget.
25, 26.
Next year's.
25.
25, 26.
25, 26.
This upcoming one, yeah,
This budget right here, right?
yeah.
The budget we're about to prove is got the money fixed into it for the bond.
Yeah.
How much have you got in there for that?
The election, 50,000.
That ain't gonna cover it.
What about the architect? We gotta pay him too.
That, again, I believe all that's gonna be getting paid if the bond passes.
But if it doesn't pass,
If it don't pass, what happens?
Yes.
pay it.
Still gotta pay him, right?
Sure, you gotta pay it.
You already owe him about 40,000.
You're gonna have some cost. If it passes, then it's gonna be worked into that bond, I would imagine, like Warren was saying, but if it don't, you're gonna have some cost.
Well, I thought, Miss Bonnie, hadn't they already paid like 45,000 on that
No.
deal?
We had paid,
No.
we had paid them
So how
nothing.
much was it? It wasn't, in my time, I never did see anything on
Yeah, you did.
Y'all paid somebody something, 40,000, if I remember right.
it.
something.
Yeah, I thought it was
And
too.
I didn't see nothing.
And the bill was like, what, 50?
Not
Wasn't that
DRG,
the
not big deal.
Not DRG, is that who you're talking about?
TRG sent us a bill.
They sent us a bill for like $45,000, and they had only met with us
They
twice,
did not pay it.
and we voted not to pay the bill. Or we agreed not to pay it, I don't know what,
You did something.
Until everything was finished. But if the bond passes, you said that will roll up into the bond. But
Yeah,
if it doesn't pass, we're gonna owe them. Still. So that's your contingency.
There's another cut right there. The percentage we gonna have to cut.
I mean, we've looked at all the revenue, the judge has as well, I just, it's not there. This is it.
Just,
and the state almost really got us the other day on that 1% cap too. Lord mercy,
it didn't pass.
I know it, but it was there. Next year, you may have to take that penny or two just to get back into it.
Well, they still have mandates coming down to add this or add that or website to do this, and there's still some other things out there that we're just gonna have to deal with those one at a time and figure out.
It's not no more election machines or nothing like that. is it? It's not no more election machines or anything out there we're gonna have to have, is it, Ms. Bonner?
No. I'm talking about internet, other mandates they're gonna, they'll come down, but hopefully we'll finish one project and we'll have the money this next year, which is what I'm planning with this budget. It's like, okay, we've already finished getting the computers upgraded, we're finished, we're done. Now these other mandates that they want us to do, okay, we can take care of those in the budget we have. We don't need to ask for any more money. But you just never know what they need. And hopefully they'll give small rural counties an extra year or two to figure out how to implement it. That's the problem.
I'm gonna pick up an offer.
I don't even think you can take up that much, and you're pretty good. I've watched you in action.
Thank you.
Oh,
Lord, touch you.
Personally, I don't normally get as nervous about the budgets. We've been able to do really well. This one makes me nervous. I'm sorry.
Well, I think that maybe we get in the budget cycle, we're gonna end up having to ask every elected official to reach in and cut some more out of their budget, just to help us get through.
I know y'all talking about waiting till
You wanna do it now?
the next year, but you better look this over real close, because we're getting down to
Zero.
the last months. If any cuts is gonna be done here, has to be done before the 23rd. And, it's gonna be tighter next year. Judge done said it, Bonnie said it, everybody's saying it's gonna be
What
tighter.
can we cut? Let's look again. I'm with you.
Have a fundraiser, have like a commissioner boxing match or wrestling match.
You take my turn.
You can handle us.
Go right ahead, you know.
I have never heard anything like.
Anybody wanna take Stephen on?
No, I'm not in it, I just y'all.
Oh, no.
Oh,
This is something you need to plead to all of the officials. They all need to look at this. We're all in this together.
Me.
Oh,
In order to properly
Oh,
function.
you gonna take it and cut some more? Gonna have to.
I don't see how you can put it off all to next year when you know that you got problems now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my old truck is wearing out, so I'm putting a little bit back, because I know I'm gonna have to buy one. Plan ahead. That's what the budget's all about.
Yes, sir.
So if I did the calculation right, my budget is, my proposed budget is gonna be $533,000 total. I did 5% off of it, that's $26,650. And I took a $40,000 hit off just now, we just took $40,000 hit off of this forestry. So that's more than 5%. So my budget cut more than 5%. So if we can put that out to the other elected officials and talk to them, I mean, I think that's more than generous if we can just say 5% and see what that generates. Let them pick and choose where they think it should go from. You know, let them cut whatever they think, because everybody's got a little bit in there that they can cut that they don't need.
We're coming back Tuesday, tell them.
So I'm thinking maybe that can be all drawn into one email to address it to all elected officials when we talk about this stuff we just talked about prior, add that in there. I mean, I don't know, that's just a suggestion. I don't know what y'all think about it.
I think it's a good suggestion.
Can we get that done? Lisa, can we get an email out, something to that effect?
But Judge, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna, hit me another 10,000 something. Mine's only like $11,000 for the whole year.
Well,
So with the hit I took.
You've already took the part.
I've already took the part.
We've all took
Yeah,
that
and
road
so
and bridge.
I can give another $5,000 out of mine. I can make it work.
what I'm trying to say is
We got more than,
we
I
got
know
cut.
we've already been cut more than that.
Your revenue has been cut.
Yeah.
Your expenses have not been cut.
Exactly.
What we're talking
Revenue.
about cutting expenses, not revenue.
Expenses, I can take another $5,000.
But that's the difference as well.
That's
And all in all, Lisa, but I can, this budget that you're looking at that we preliminarily set for those departments, I can isolate that budget for that department and send it to them with that email.
that would be awesome if we could get that.
Let me-
Everybody needs to look at doing the 5%.
Let me
They need to look at what you're looking at.
Let me readdress Orrin, what he just said. He said it's two different things, expense side versus revenue. But in our departments, we can only spend what we bring in.
Right.
So I don't think
But in
that,
this budget, you haven't cut
right,
by that 40% or whatever, right? Your revenue piece,
we're never gonna
which
get
goes
the,
in the general fund,
yeah.
right? But you haven't actually taken an expenditure hit on any of y'all's items yet.
So we need to look at what we're getting out of the general fund and take a 5% cut out of that. Is that what you're correct?
Yeah, you need to look at your total expenditures and cut 5%. You know, if we're doing that across the board, you haven't taken the hit yet, is my point. That was a revenue item in the general fund that goes to offset in each of y'all's departments. However, you haven't taken that hit yet.
We can do it.
So, you know, if we're gonna do that across the board, then that actually would need to be across the board. So,
I just don't see how we didn't take that hit when we're supposed to be getting 40,000, or I'm supposed to be getting
look at
40.
your expenses from last year and look at them what the budget, and you haven't taken that hit on your expenditures.
We did have it, but we don't have it no more.
You're just talking revenue.
You're talking
We
innocent.
filled in,
He's talking
we
innocent.
filled in from the general fund what you need, with what the expenses that you have put in your first budget. If you needed 132,000 more, we moved it from the general fund, Molly, to, and you'll see
That's where it
that on
goes to
there.
that general fund.
Last page,
That's what
general
took
fund,
it.
on strength to turn out to all the commissioners' budget in order for you to have enough expenses to
Miss Bonnie, we gonna take a 10-minute break right here. If we do it, I got some need to go, so come back in 20 minutes till.
Miss Bonnie, I got a real question while they're taking a break, real quick question while they're taking a break. Okay. On my contract,
Call this meeting back to order.
All right, go ahead, what page?
We're still over the budget.
If y'all please look on page 5.
Okay.
The county clerk's budget, this contract services and records digitizing, there's $14,620 in there that we don't use. But, with conference and everything, that keeps going up, and then cutting our hours every time we go to conference, we have to go to more conferences to get our hours. I asked Bonnie if she would move my conference from 4,000 to 6,000 out of that 14 that's there, and then put the what's left of that back 12,000 back into the general fund.
Back 8,000, maybe.
That would give us another, yeah.
I'm saying that's her 5%.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
And
you.
then that also corrects my overage for conference and education.
All right, Shasta,
And
good.
it makes that
Thank you.
correct.
That's good.
Just so when you see that increase on the next round from 4,000 to 6,000, you know where that money,
Yeah, where it come from,
Where
and
it
then
came
we go
from.
back to the, thank
that
you,
I'm not
that's
taking,
good.
that I'm actually
All righty,
moving it around.
put a check mark back here. That's good. She's gonna take it from this 14,620 on this contracted services and records. She's gonna move it to open service. Cause see, she's already
Six
over,
dispatch.
she needs to move this to 6.
Jail
But she'll put
administrator,
8620 back in general
two
fund.
part-time,
So
that's
her
8,
5%.
right?
Thank you. I like that.
Who's two captains?
In on page. Miss Bonnie, on page 3 of Road and Bridge on hours, on 0612, move my original budget of 10,000 for culverts down to 5,000. There's a $5,000 saving. I'll just cut trees that's hollow from now on and put them under there. Yeah.
All right, so you're doing culverts to 5,000?
Yes, ma'am, take it down to 5,000.
Okay. And if people in their email, we send them, they'll send us the changes, I can then do you a cover sheet, show all of the changes requested and how much additional funding, more or less, that they're making. I can make some on the grant writer, there's some extra there for supplies, computers, and contracts, we can reduce those.
What'd you do, Mike? You took 5,000 off of your culvert?
Culverts, yeah, I moved it back to 5,000.
Yeah.
That's a nice little savings. I'm so over on my contract hauling, but I'll try to get a hold of that.
can take a total of 2,500 out of the grant writer administration budget. Page 6.
Let's see.
See what I spent on repairs.
Yeah.
Had a lot of stuff break.
Had 10,000 in there. Spent 39.
Let's see here.
But I don't get new vehicles or new nothing. I buy used ones and wore out ones, so you have to work on them sometime.
We definitely need to make sure we keep our equipment and stuff in working order. I mean, that's required, so,
Miss Bonnie, back on mine, you can go to 4606 road signs, and let me drop that to 1,000 instead of 1,500. So that's another 500.
okay.
That's all that. They steal them as fast as you put them up.
Absolutely. Got a lot to come up with. Got to come up with 35,000.
Bonnie, on mine,
Sir?
on my fuel and lubrications, I got 55. Take 10 of that off, make it 45, and add it to my contract hauling, where I got 30.
So what do you want contract hauling to do?
That'll be 50.
Okay. And fuel at 45.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No, Bonnie, that's wrong. I got 55 in oil and lubrication. Make it 45 and add the 10 to the contract hauling, which is 30, it'd be 40. Right?
44.96, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Just gotta pray Dwayne keeps making good rocks, so I can get my rock back.
Still getting them out of, Allbrooks.
Yeah. Well, the last one got, he was pretty good rock.
That's what Neil told me the other day, he got some pretty good. I'm getting principles of interest.
Bonnie, I have a question.
On my RMP, do we still have it as me covering the software iDocket cost for myself and the district clerk's office? To save for RMPs for other things?
Yeah. Now, you've got money in your funds, I just haven't budgeted, let's see, figure out.
The reason why I'm asking is I'm not trying to like dive into her budget, but I do notice on her R&D side that she has several of the contract services, line items.
Yeah, you're paying the 51,000, on that iDocket, which includes the district clerk. District clerk does not have enough funds still to cover that.
Well, I guess
we had that discussion a day or so ago.
So I guess what I'm asking is, like, there is $1,345, then there's a $1,500, and there's a $1,600 that's in her R&P that's allotted there. Could she?
It's, but actual money in the bank, let me look at that.
I ask every year.
I think there's only maybe 7,000 in the bank.
That's what that says.
I'll have that.
Miss Bonnie, on mine, I got a cell phone there and I don't have one, so you could take that out for me. Cell phone service, $485.
Actually, you do, that is where your county cell phone is being applied. There's $235 worth of postage there. You're looking at the county jail?
Yeah.
That is for your county cell phone.
You say you ain't got one?
I don't have one.
It's the one Becky is using.
Oh,
The
maintenance has got it. Are you charging her maintenance?
I was charging it out of your budget.
No, because I didn't order one for her, so I did not know that she had yours. It's assigned to you.
Yeah, we just need to be able to get a hold of her when she was out and stuff. I wasn't using mine, so I thought they traded that over.
Bonnie, on Road and Bridge in mine, on page 5, I don't know if your pages is there. Down at the bottom of it, it says principals and interest.
Yes.
What is that for?
That's your, you'll have a loan account. Use for your equipment for $20,000 principal, $1,400 in interest. Do you have one last payment?
Yes.
To make on
When is it? I thought it was due in September. Do you know offhand?
I have it. Here, let me open this up real quick, because I have the details I gave everybody.
I want to pay that off and take this completely out.
Well, if you, We can if you open bank, so.
Do what, babe? No, we do own the bank. I had one note left. My intention was to get it paid off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's easy to find, just get on there. All right, thank you, bye. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
I don't, Bonnie, on, if I was to, if
Tommy,
I,
just 1 second, let me.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking up on Road Bridge 3.
I didn't know, I'm sorry.
Let me answer Neil's question on his debt. I show the 2014 John Deere motor grader has a payment due in June of 2026.
Okay,
That's the last one for
Hey, that-
20,727. Yeah.
can I take and pay it off now?
Well, yeah, we paid off the end of September.
That's what I want, where it ain't on this budget.
But I'll need to take money from somewhere, because we didn't budget that, this current budget is paid off. So you want that to come out of
You're gonna take it out of my savings.
your, okay, so if you do that, then yes, I can pay it now, and then that would come off for next year.
Won't even show it.
That should be a cut.
Right.
Right there. So,
That's the only thing you have, so.
Well, that's 14,000 right there in interest alone.
so Bonnie, my question is kind of the same guidelines. If I was to, I've been looking through here to see what I could cut the 5% out of. If I was to pay off, one of my something equipment, that would cut down on the principal and interest as well, correct? And that would be some of the 5% taken off.
Now, let's see, what you got. You've got 3 payments, 3 different things.
Yeah, I should have the,
On the 2020,
I want to pay off one of them. I want to pay off one of them high interest ones. That's either the Mack truck or the loader, one or the other. This go around, and that would cut down, a lot off of this next budget going in.
you can either do the Cannon loader for a total of 29,354, or the Mack truck for 33,441.
We'll go for 50.
Yeah, but that's
Bonnie,
not.
can you look on my,
I'll get back with you on that, Bonnie. I'll decide which way I want to do it before this budget ends.
Okay.
All right.
what machines do I owe and what amounts
That's on
to
the
pay them off? Bonnie?
You've got your,
I want to pay.
you've got your 2017
So it'll
John
take
Deere
away
motor grader,
principal and
those
interest,
are
you know what I'm
monthly
saying?
payments that we make to the bank, they draw out that. You've got a 22 Mack truck,
I'm paying a lot of golf anyway with that ARPA.
How much is the truck?
the Mack truck's 33,441.
Is that,
That's what I owe on it?
That's total with, principal and interest, yes.
I only owe 30,000.
What about the boom mower?
No, I might pay it off.
No, I'm saying maybe I only owe 30,000.
33,290.
If I understood it right, go 50.
I probably want to pull some money out of my savings and just pay those 2 off.
That'll cut it down too,
I'm going into 26 debt-free first time. Y'all hear that? Debt-free at precinct 3.
Did you hear what I said, Ms. Bonnie?
I like this transparency. I I didn't think I was gonna like these cameras, and it's just getting better and better. People understand now, they can see for themselves.
That last meeting we had showed how much we owed, right?
Yeah.
But see, I don't understand it. On yours, it's showing 79 and 13, but you've got more numbers than that, ain't you? 3?
Bonnie, I don't know if you heard what I said. I'd like to pay off the boom mower. You said I owe $33,000 on both of those, the boom mower and the truck.
Yeah, the Mack truck's $33,441, the boom mower's $33,290.
Okay, I'd just like to pull some out of save and just pay those two off.
That's what I owe.
And I got some more stuff on that.
Okay.
That truck owes 61. So I was take both of them out.
And I got some more stuff here I can trim, but there's several things. You mean just get it to you later?
But that's the lower interest rate.
Let's check in.
Yes, do that, send it in an email, or, that way I've got it, and I
That's the
can
thing,
make the
too.
corrections, and,
I got about $25,000 I
Yeah.
can trim off of what I got here.
Man, this is good.
okay. Yeah, it'd be easier to send it to me, because I made a note on the numbers.
Okay.
It needs to be either coming out of your savings or ARPA, or where you're gonna pull that from, it won't be from the current budget.
That's gonna cut a pretty good bit out of it right there. And it's off.
Yeah, that,
Sorry?
That'd be
Close to $100,000.
that'd be our
Our
5%.
contribution.
Our
How about that,
contribution.
buddy? That's good.
That was 14,000 on interest right there with me.
Warren's feeling better.
I don't know, I'm looking for 5%.
Turn on my telephone.
That's awesome, guys.
So it's our plan to send out the letter. Bonnie, are you gonna send the letter or the judge?
the judge needs to send a letter out, but I'll send Lisa, their budget and individual deals so that they'll have their budget to look at. Or she can say there, you being sent by the office, you can make adjustments to your budget. She can do the memo, and I can send it, budget.
And you're gonna send a copy of this.
I'm gonna send the handbook.
Lisa and I can coordinate that.
What they got right there.
That's good.
We're gonna meet Tuesday.
Yeah, we can have these changes,
Yeah. And then where you gonna cut them?
We're gonna cut it out. We got ours pretty much.
Yeah, I know you do. Y'all can't cut anything out. You're not gonna have fuel.
Well, we're having a cut and the judge gets more money. Ain't that something?
He said that's why he wants us to cut. So we think we can get these pretty much by Tuesday?
Aren't we back up? She's already put it back on there, Lisa. Aren't we, haven't we got scheduled one Tuesday next week?
Oh, yes, regular, yes.
regular.
So we're gonna do a budget after that, correct? Right at the end of the meeting like we always do, budget? No, just workshop. Yeah.
Workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Bonnie, I'll get with you, in the next day or two to decide which ones I wanna pay off and that'll cut across the
We
principal
did.
and interest and all that.
Now, we're headed for a 23rd trying to follow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But if you're asking for cuts from every department, maybe y'all want to look at that.
Like to have by Tuesday, wouldn't we?
Send them back, and just see if they can get them back to, tell me it's urgent, get them back in.
So we'll probably have to go on Monday, so the bonds are gonna do that.
Yeah, as you get them, if you got them, go ahead and feed them to Miss Bonnie. Can we do that? Would that be all right with y'all?
Yeah, get them to me. Get them to me so I can make the changes and run you a new report for Tuesday's meeting, what you talked about so far, and then you can then, people that turn anything in, I'll generate the new report.
Thank you, Miss Bonnie.
Is that everything, Judge?
Everything was on there.
I make a motion we adjourn then.
All in favor?
Aye.